our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
A little early on a Thursday, but it's time once again to jump into another Energy Condors connection. Ryan Holt, I believe, is hidden in a jail cell somewhere, or the lighting is a hotel room, one of the two. What's going on, my friend?
I was trying to show you the golf course that's behind me, but I couldn't figure out the lighting, so we're back to yellow light and, that stuff.
It's hotel lighting. Everyone who stayed in a hotel knows that lighting.
Yeah, and it's between Calgary and Palm Springs, we've had to pack for like 3 different climates. I don't know. Hey, we're here, though.
Well, you are on the road in Palm Springs. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We always, of course, start talking about the parent organization first, which is the Edmonton Oilers. Last night, another Condor made their debut.
Yeah, Vinny Desharnais, what a great story. Vinny, has been with us since 2018. 2018-19 was, kind of a fill-in player. He was a guy who was drafted by the Oilers but wasn't signed to an NHL contract like probably 90% of players, but took a chance on himself, signed an AHL deal with the Condors to stay in the organization, not on an NHL contract, but had the 1920 season, spent that year in ECHL, spent the next year with us during the COVID season of 2021, really established himself as an AHL regular, and then last year became a dominant AHL defenseman. He's a guy who logs the most minutes on the team. He led the league in plus minus last year, earned an NHL contract at the tail end of last season, and then this year, has battled injuries, but has certainly deserved the opportunity and provides something that you can't teach. That's size. That's physicality, and I'm thrilled I'm over the moon for him. Sunday after the game, we lost in Calgary, and Vinny, I walked down the locker room, and Vinny, kind of picked me up and gave me a big bear hug, and let me know that I was a big part of him getting to where he is now, and he was really emotional, and I got to call his family and his brother, and it's a great story. You may get one of those guys every decade in different organizations, and for him to have put in the work over the last 4 or 5 years to get to where he is, I know he'll do great things up there. Will we see him again in Bakersfield? Probably, but we may not. And that's the beauty of this.
Talk about 5 years of perseverance to get there. What were you seeing him on the ice what did you see out of him last night on the ice?
Yeah, he played over 15 minutes. I think that was a little indicative of the score line as well, too, but also indicative of how he played. His first couple of shifts I thought were good. He took an early penalty, which, that at least fills the stats up a little bit. But, he's not going to wow you with points. He's not going to wow you with offense. That's not who he is, but that's not who they're looking for. They're looking for a penalty killer. They're looking for a guy who can, shut down the opposition, who can play physical, who's mean and nasty. And, he provides that. And, he's going to have an opportunity. And I think it's great that, he was able to get his feet wet, in a game last night. And, he played over 15 minutes. He probably plays 25 minutes for us. So it's not that out of the realm of what he's done. So, and his coaches know him, and I think that's the biggest thing he has going for him is his 2 coaches know who he is. You froze.
Sorry about that once again. One thing is,
I'm blaming the back end now because this isn't my internet now. This isn't CondorsTown.
No, that was actually on my end that time. So we finally have something I'll take the full blame for. So we were talking about his debut last night, but another big story coming out of the Edmonton Oilers organization, Evander Kane, which we're not expecting until like February. He's actually on the ice shooting pucks again.
Yeah. So that's great to see. I think it might cause headaches for people who get paid more than me, which is fine, I guess. It's a good thing. You want Evander Kane back in your lineup, and they've missed Evander Kane. But his salary means that someone's going to have to either come down or move out, and we'll see what happens. That's for other people, but I think that's due in large part too is what you've seen the last couple of weeks is James Hamlin went up for a month. Vinny Desharnais up there now, so they're kind of getting a look at some guys who you may not have thought would get a look this year, and that's due in large part to some injuries, but also with the impending return. What do you have to do when he does return? So you're better off knowing what you have before he comes back, and then you can kind of make your decisions from there.
Let's go and talk about how it does affect the local side, because it was kind of a rough trip in Calgary. I mean, you stayed right in the game, both games, but unfortunately there were 2 L's. What were you seeing up there?
Yeah, Calgary beats everybody. So I guess that's the positive to take away from it is, Calgary and Coachella Valley, this team we're playing tomorrow night. I think they're a combined 50-10 on the year. So they beat just about everybody. But that said, when Tuesday was tough to swallow. Sunday the team played really well and ran into a hot goalie. Tuesday, the Condors came back, leveled the game in the third. There's 2 minutes left, and I think I went back. There's been 11 games this year where the Condors have been tied or leading, with under 10 minutes left in the third period, and the team's only been to overtime twice. So that tells you that you're not getting to overtime and you're losing games late. So I think I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I don't know what's worse, like if you lost 7-0 or if you lose 2-1 every night. Like I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, this has been such a strange season because the Condors have been in just about every game. You throw out the one Calgary game, and it's basically been 1-goal games the entire time. I think it's 19 out of the 31 games have been 1-goal games. So something's got to give here at some point.
And the fact that both games in Calgary both were 1-goal games.
Both 1-goal games.
And it's not like Calgary was just tearing you up. It was
and
right into the end.
Yeah, and not to say the loser point, but take those 11 games, let's just say, and you get half of them to overtime. That's 6 points.
Yep.
You win, maybe you win 2 out of those games in OT. That's another 4. That's 10 points right there. That's the difference right now between being 5th and being 9th. Like, so, it's the difference right now between 5th and 9th and, now 10th with San Diego playing a couple of games here late, but it is basically a couple of overtime losses. So, is it a great spot to be in right now? No, nobody's happy about it, but I just don't see a situation where, this Condors team isn't in the postseason and they're not playing into April. Like, I just don't see it because, the level of competition outside of Calgary, Coachella Valley, and you can kind of throw Abbotsford in there too. I think it's pretty, across the board the rest of the way after that. It's kind of a weird season that way.
Let's talk about moving forward, because obviously you can't do anything about the past games, but you can keep moving forward. Tomorrow, first time visiting a new building facing Coachella Valley. What's the prep work like for that?
Yeah, we'll practice here in a little bit. Acrisure Arena is, the newest arena in America. It's got 11,000 seats, and they've done well here. Obviously, they've gotten off to a great start this season. They're a veteran heavy team. They have probably 1 or 2 draft picks on the team just because of the way the Kraken have had to build their teams. They remind me a lot of how Henderson was kind of that first year as well too, when we went toe to toe with them, and they basically had all NHL tweener type players, and that's what they have here. Podorowski's been terrific, and Cole Lynn's been terrific up front. They're loaded. They don't. I think they've lost once in this building in 7 or 8 games. So they're very good here as well too. So it's going to be a big test. Looks like the Condors might get Michael Kessering back. He had illness. Nowadays that's COVID. But it's a week away. So look to get him back in, which would be great tomorrow night. And we'll see what happens.
So we got that, and then we got the bus trip back home as Tucson is in town on Saturday. What's the prognostication looking like for that one?
Yeah, and again, we finally get out of this gauntlet of Calgary, Coachella Valley in Colorado. It seems like we've been on for the better part of the last month. Now the next 8 games after that are Tucson, San Diego, and San Jose, who are all below 500. So, that's, I guess, the positive side of things, but you got to go out and win the hockey games and find ways to win games now, against those type of teams, because that's what gets you, into the postseason and probably get you as high as 5th.
I think we have lost our connection once again. The lovely hotel internet that we get, sometimes. So that's just what happens. Ryan Holt will connect with him again in just a moment here on your Energy Condors Connection. Once again, tonight they're off, but tomorrow night they're playing their first game in Coachella Valley at the new arena out there. And then coming up on Saturday night, they're going to be home versus Tucson. As soon as I get Ryan Holt back here on the connection, we'll get him back on your Energy Condors Connection. And that time, my friend, it was the hotel internet.
I'm blaming. I'm going to start blaming stream. This back end here, because I don't see myself losing internet. I don't know.
Well, when you watch Netflix and YouTube on the background, there's only so much bandwidth to go around.
Apparently, I'm going to blame the bandwidth. But Saturday night's U Jersey night against Tucson. We got James Hamlin, who's back in the lineup. He's excited to be back, and first 2,000 kids 12 and under get a U Jersey, and that's pretty cool. And hopefully a big win over Tucson. This team needs to start making up some ground on home ice, and like I said, 8 games against teams below 500. That's where you're going to make your pudding here over the next couple of months.
Well, and also would be remiss if I don't mention we have an all-star pick also in the Condors organization.
Yeah, Seth Griffith named to his second all-star team this week, so that'll be cool. He'll go to Laval, Quebec coming up the first week of February. So, he's been our leading scorer this year. He, led our team in scoring last year at 30 goals, well-deserving. And, he'll head to Laval coming up in a couple of weeks.
Nice to do. So anyone wants to check out the pretty new arena on tomorrow night when the Condors take on Coachella Valley, what they got to do?
Yeah, ahltv.com. I think Friday night might even be a free game. Saturday is, but you'll be at the arena. So Friday might even be free as well, too. So if not, it's $1, I think, to sign up. So, not bad at all. And you can stream it on any OTT platform that you have.
And for Youth Jersey night, how do people go check it out?
Yeah, you want to get here early. Doors open at 6 on Saturday. Puck drops at 7. But don't show up at 7 and go, I'd like a U Jersey. It might not be the case. Big crowd on Saturday night. Big crowds coming up. We got Star Wars night coming up at the end of the month as well, too. So tickets are just $12, and we got some great deals as well, too, online on our website.
Also mark February 11th. It's not that far away where that's going to be Wizard Night, where Energy 95.3 is going to be out there once again as well.
Wands, Wizards, Owls, Butterbeer. Oh, my.
Ryan Holt checking in from Palm Springs, and it's not a prison cell, I promise. It is a hotel room.
Yeah, and, there's a great golf course on the other side of this.
That's what they all say.
There is.
Ryan Holt, appreciate it as always, and once again, check it out tomorrow night as they take on Coachella Valley and back in town on Saturday night for Tucson. And we will see you next Thursday for another edition of your Energy Condors Connection right here